Put our exactly 69 grains into the bore of Pyrodex there. Yep, that's what we need. All right, then we take our round ball. Let's see here, and we drop it down the... I almost messed up there, guys. I almost messed up. Now, I don't got any pillow ticking. However, I do have paper, so it's the best I can do at the moment. I don't know. I don't think I need a ball starter. Yeah, oh, I can't hit the French. I can't hit the French. It was too loose. I'm not going to be able to hit anything, guys. It's not going to engage the rifling on this smoothbore musket. Okay, let's go ahead and ram this home. We want to make sure there's no air gaps whatsoever in between the powder and the ball. You know what I'm talking about, everything black powder? Yeah, okay. So, all right, now we're ready to fight the French as an American militiaman. Okay, here we go. Parry this, you filthy casual!
What the devil are you doing here?
Send them to Ireland. We'd be free in a week.
The French are over there. Waiting. They fire 3 rounds a minute. You fire 2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
By sunset tomorrow, you'll all be dead.
Well, sir, I'm doing what the internet told me to do. Sir, you don't have to get right in my face. I'm just doing what the internet said. Pass round ball. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Weapons of the 18th Century. I'm your host, Ethan Woods, and you are watching the 11 Bang Bang channel. And today we are going to be using our new Pederosoli Shortland Pattern Brown Bess, thanks to Duke Fraser Productions. We bought it off him. Thanks, Duke. And we are going to be discussing the Sharpe method of firing, aka tap loading. Now, first of all, I will go ahead and do a small disclaimer. Do not try anything you see here at home. This is dangerous. I would say I'm a highly trained professional, but that would be a lie. I'm really just kind of a souped up redneck. And no, I'm not a reenactor. I'm just out here having fun with this thing and trying to see if we can bust a few myths. So, what am I talking about tap loading? I'm talking about this right here.
Bite, pour, spit, tap, aim.
Now, before everybody jumps my case, no, I'm not going to be spitting the balls down the barrel, and no, I'm not going to be chewing on lead musket balls. That's a good way to get lead poisoning. We're going to be using our homemade paper cartridges here, and these are actually pewter balls we're using from Townsend's. 69 caliber balls loaded with 220 grains of homemade 1F powder behind them. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to first run 3 rounds, very awkwardly most likely, of standard loading and see how long it takes me. Let me go ahead and explain to you what standard loading is. Standard loading is when you take the paper cartridge, bite off the tail, prime the pan, close the pan on half cock, pour the powder down the barrel, put the ball and the rest of the cartridge down the barrel, ram it home, return your rammer, and fire. Tap loading is quite a bit different. Instead of biting off the tail, you actually bite off the ball. And these British paper cartridges, it works very well with because there's no crimp behind them. They actually have a paper spacer that's folded over in the cartridge. If you want to know how to do this, go watch Duelist 1954's video on it. He does a splendid video on how to do this. I watched it, and that's where I got my information from. But you bite the ball off, you pinch the cartridge, prime, pour the powder down the barrel, discard the cartridge, pull the ball out of your mouth. If you're watching Sharpe, you spit the ball down the barrel. I'm not going to do that. We pull the ball out of our mouth, drop it down the barrel, tap it on the ground, and give fire. Completely getting rid of the ramrod, having to use it. Now, here's the next question. Was this done historically? By all the manuals, absolutely not. You would not see this done probably in any European military, I doubt, in the Napoleonic War. However, I've got at least one source from a book I read a while ago, and it's kind of a shaky source, but it is a perspective of a soldier at the Battle of Elizabethtown who states that he was in a militia and that the standard drill was nothing but ornamental because the redcoats were bearing down on them with bayonets, and the men were actually dropping the whole ball down, or the whole cartridge down the barrel without ramming it and just tapping it and firing it. That I definitely wouldn't suggest doing. However, I did try it today with a Charleville cartridge. And that is something you got to realize. This actually could happen because the Continental Army is more likely to issue out Charleville cartridges, and a lot of guys are going to be carrying Brown Besses, especially militias. And so it is actually pretty likely that guys were shooting Charleville cartridges out of their Brown Besses, and I can tell you for a fact that'll 100% happen. No matter how bad fouled out this gun is, that Charleville cartridge will roll right down that barrel. There is also one more historical reference that I trust very well, and that is Robert Rogers talking about running ball. Now, what is running ball? Basically what it is where it is just powder and ball. There's no patch, no wadding, no nothing, no cartridge. The reason he talked about them doing this is because at Fort William Henry in the French and Indian War or the 7 Years' War, depending on what continent you're on, he mentions that a man who was off duty got drunk with his musket at the fort and negligently discharged off and killed somebody, or seriously hurt him, I can't remember which. After this, the rule was changed that nobody except for guards on duty was to have their weapon loaded. So what these guys were doing were they are actually going and taking, when they go on guard duty, pour the powder down the barrel, put the ball down, keep your musket held muzzle in the air the entire time until you got off guard duty. If you hadn't fired it, you got up to a cup and you dumped it all out, and the next guy would use it. So that's enough rambling on. Let's go ahead and test this out. We're first gonna kind of do the standard loading. I'm not a reenactor again, guys. I'm not doing the technical drill for this. However, I'm replicating basically what you would see your standard militiaman doing on the battlefield, fumbling around a lot, most likely. And then once we get done doing that, we'll go ahead and we will try the tap loading procedure.
Okay, let's talk about this first round here. You may notice that I had a pretty bad hiccup in it whenever I accidentally went to full cock. However, I noticed that I did this immediately and safely went and fixed it. Once again, guys, this is why I suggest that you do not do this at home. It is very dangerous if you were to accidentally go to full cock and have the gun go off while you were loading it. However, we got this fixed, and I still managed to get my 3 rounds out in under 1 minute with 1 hit on my first shot. Now let's go to the tap loading portion. Okay, so let's talk about this second round. You will notice that that actually went by quite a bit quicker, and I actually scored 2 hits. So let's go ahead and go to the third round. And before we do this, I will go ahead and say this is still tap loading. However, I wanted to try it from an unloaded musket and see if I could still get 3 rounds in under 1 minute. So you will notice that I actually set up 2 timers, one starting from the unloaded position and one starting as soon as the musket fires.
We will go ahead and we will try this from the unloaded position to start, or for this round, because that worked pretty good the last time, not gonna lie, a little better than I expected. A lot of spillage though, guys, so here we go. Actually, let's go ahead and, like we just fired here. So, half cock. Ah, spread. More cartridges, more cartridges! Fill my thing up while I'm loading.
Okay guys, so that was a really good run, and if you couldn't tell, once again I had a pretty bad hiccup where I actually did not have enough paper cartridges in my possibles bag. However, I still managed to get 3 shots in less than a minute on both timers. So pretty good, and I actually scored 2 out of 3 hits once again. So not only was I shooting faster with tap loading, for some reason I was shooting more accurately.
Yahoo!
From where he started.
That's how she's done, boys and girls. All right, guys, so what are my thoughts on tap loading? I think in a battlefield situation where you've got a bunch of guys who don't know what they're doing and they got to be able to lay down a whole lot of fire real quick, tap loading, 100% viable in my opinion. What'd you say, Caleb?
Oh, yeah.
So, anyhow, as always, thank you for watching. Trust in God and keep your powder dry. Bye.